Manager Kim is still an ongoing manhwa with 100+ chapters as of now. The story starts with Manager Kim, a simple office worker, kneeling down on the CEO of a company. His daughter, Kim Minji, is shouting at him, asking if he has any sense of pride because the one that is being bullied is Minji. Even the class advisor of Minji is whispering to him, telling him that it is best to clear things up with the victim who is the enemy of his daughter. The reason that the teacher is on the side of Hyori is that she is the daughter of the CEO of a famous construction company. And the best thing for a person who has nothing like Manager Kim is to beg and ask for forgiveness for raising his daughter in that way. Because of that, it made Minji hate him more, thinking that his father is weak. All the other dads of her classmates are either politicians or CEOs who have a lot of skills. She cried and blamed her father that he had nothing that she could be proud of in her life. Minji even told Manager Kim if that is the only life he can provide, why did he even let her be born in the first place? Manager Kim could only accept all of the frustrations of his daughter on him. Minji told her father to not look for her for a while and that she would stay at her only friend's house. But after that, Hyori gathers her crew to confront Minji. Minji fights back and two of them slap each other while the crew of Hyori surrounds them. That is when some big guy enters, kicking Minji so hard that made her falls down. It was a delinquent who was a member of KK crew and also the lover of Hyori. Even in the face of this tattooed delinquent, Hyori even says a word that triggers this guy's anger. Then he grabs Minji's hair, aiming to slap her. Seeing how Minji was beaten up, even their fellow delinquents were sweating on how hard this guy was beating the girl. They told the boyfriend of Hyori to stop because Minji would die at the rate on how he beats him. But instead of stopping his boyfriend, this spoiled brat Hyori even grabs a stone and smashed the head of Minji. That made Minji fall, and the worst part is that Minji fell and impacted her head in the large stone on the ground. Seeing what happened, this bastard knows that he will be doomed if someone knows that he and Hyori were the reason for this incident. One of the girls tried to shout and told the others to call 911 for help, but this bastard covered her mouth. He also told the other delinquents that if he got caught, he would tell the authorities that they all participated in the assault, which is why the other delinquents decided to be silent because of fear. He tried to call their crew head to ask for help, but Hyori grabs the phone. She introduced herself as the daughter of Ju Kang-chan, the CEO of Juyung Construction. She told them to introduce her to someone who can clean up their mess. Then these gangsters come over to fetch her and do the commission. The leader of the gangsters said that they would just Minji in a machine in Japan and everything will be finished. Hearing that made Hyori sweating in fear. They put Minji's body in the car trunk and go to the said location. They said that there is no need for Hyori to be worried, as they will just talk to her father about the money and finish up everything. Many hours have passed and Minji is still not arriving at their home, to the point that even Manager Kim got to sleep. Looking at the clock, Manager Kim decided to look for her daughter. While walking in the street, Manager Kim passed by in the area where a lot of people were talking about something. He saw that there was a lot of blood in the area, that it seemed like there was a fight. But what caught more of his attention was the hair tie that was on the ground, which he remembers as the hair tie of the daughter of the CEO. He calls the friend of his daughter that she mentioned about, but Minji isn't there, and that is when he shows his true color. He suddenly appeared at the back of both Hyori and her boyfriend, which made them both shocked. He told them to wait since there was a question that he needed to ask. He introduces himself as Minji's dad, but that made the boyfriend angry because he scared them from appearing suddenly. But when this delinquent looks at his girlfriend, she is sweating like someone who is guilty. He decided not to punch Manager Kim and told him that they did not know someone who had a name like Minji. But Manager Kim showed Hyori her hair tie and told them that he saw it in the corner, which made both of them to be shocked. That made the boyfriend of Hyori got angry and told Manager Kim that if he didn't want to get hurt, he should go and leave. Hearing the word leave brings back the time when he told his superiors to let him leave the military and be discharged from it. He even points the gun and a knife on the general, saying that he wants to be discharged. That made the general even pee on his pants. With no other choice because of fear, the general cried and told his men to let him be discharged since he was so crazy and deserved to be in mental. Going back to the present story, Manager Kim was not even threatened by the threat of the boyfriend of Hyori. That is when this delinquent shows off his full body tattoo on Manager Kim to make Manager Kim fear him. This guy holds Manager Kim's clothes and Manager Kim asks him what is he going to do. Then this delinquent tore the clothes off of Manager Kim, in which what he saw made him so shocked, as what is in the body of Manager Kim is not a tattoo but scars from bullets and knife wounds. Little did they know is that this guy was once known as Sergeant Kim, and the missions that he accomplished were taking over the North 17 times, sent as a double spy to the South 5 times, breaking into jail 2 times, and the one that has a record as the greatest assassination attempt in the North. And there is even a team from other countries dedicated to him. And with that, this Fatso was just beaten down easily. The presence of this guy is a diplomatic problem itself. Manager Kim asks where is Minji. While his neck was choked down by a string, this guy was crying and was begging, telling Manager Kim that only the crew leader knows where is Minji. Then this crew head on the other hand was bullying some old guy in the neighborhood, beating him again and again. That is when Manager Kim comes in and hunts them down. Seeing his crew beaten down, the crew leader runs and jumps on the window. But this guy has no escape from the best assassin as he trips down on the trap. All of the wires were placed down before even that attack, and they are just like a rat that was trapped in the first place. He was beaten up by Manager Kim and his face was all swollen around. He told Manager Kim that he doesn't know about the gangster and they only got a contact in some social media messaging app. This guy was so complacent that he would not be put in jail and he would just be protected by the law since he was still a minor and Manager Kim cannot do anything on him. But Manager Kim doesn't even care as he took down his briefcase and throw all the papers inside it. And there was a hidden gun inside it with a silencer and bullets. While assembling his gun, Manager Kim told him, "Did you know? A child who lost their parent is called an orphan. A woman who lost her husband is called a widow. But there is no name for a parent who lost their child, which makes it more miserable." Manager Kim put in a fully loaded magazine and told this guy that he had nothing to lose anymore. He told the guy that he only had a lame excuse and pointed a gun at him. But the truth is that this guy is not a minor anymore, which it made more scarier for him. Manager Kim shoots him and tells him that he does not let anyone slide, especially those who bother his daughter. When Manager Kim looked at this guy's phone, he saw a message that told this guy that they would make sure that Minji was dead. When Manager Kim tried to contact the person, the phone was already blocked, which made Manager Kim cry. He vents his anger onto the crew leader, but the old man who was beaten up by the crew leader a while ago tried to stab Manager Kim, thinking that he lost his sense of logic. But this guy missed and only hit in the middle of his arms, but the bad thing is that it made Manager Kim so angry. When Manager Kim tried to stab the crew leader, the police already appeared and told Manager Kim to stop. In the end, Manager Kim surrendered to the police, and one of the superiors ordered to check his fingerprint to know more about him. When they tried to use his fingerprint to do a background check, all of the information regarding Manager Kim was blocked and the information that was put are all unknown. Even the police who did the background check were confused on what are all the things that is happening right now. Manager Kim seems to lose himself, thinking that his daughter is already dead. But something called on his phone. The police said that it was his daughter's number. Hearing what the police said made Manager Kim gain hope to continue living once again. In an instant, he was able to escape from the handcuffs of the police, that even making the policemen shock. He beat down all of the police in the station like they are just small fries. This includes the 2 big guys who are members of the judo team in the Asian Games, and he suddenly appears at the back of the policeman who is holding his phone. He holds the mouth of the policeman and told him to keep silent. While everyone was lying down beaten up, he asked on the phone if the one who was answering is Minji, but the other line suddenly ended the call, which made Manager Kim leave the area to find that person holding his daughter's phone. The next morning, the officers told their superior that they were beaten down by just one person. But that made their superior, who was going to be promoted next year, so angry. Then while all of them were being reprimanded, some random guy suddenly appeared. Then he suddenly slaps so hard the one who is the officer in charge of the department. Then someone lit his cigarette. Then this guy asks the superior if they are just playing a child's game for being beaten like that. This guy was actually the National Operations Department Director Kang-guk Kil, that had a code name Ground Dog. He told the police that they should be prepared to say goodbye to their uniform. The director ordered to track down Codename 66, which is referring to Manager Kim, but they could not believe that they were able to track down Manager Kim easily using his old phone. The location of Manager Kim was pinpoint in one of the Taekwondo center. There he meets a middle-aged man who is training kids in Taekwondo. This middle-aged man is a longtime friend of Manager Kim and was a gold medalist in Taekwondo. His name is Song Hansu, the one who owns the Heian Taekwondo Center. Seeing his friend come to him personally, Song Hansu thinks that he has a large problem, but he was shocked when Manager Kim suddenly told him that his daughter is already dead. Manager Kim said that he is still not sure, and the reason why he did not throw the phone even he was tracked because he was still expecting that his daughter will call him. Song Hansu told Manager Kim that he would help him since he is also the one who saved Taehoon, his son who almost died from drowning. The director of the Special Forces suddenly enters while playing with the student of Song Hansu. Then seeing that Song Hansu kicks him so hard that made the food fly, but his strong kick was caught by the director. That is when Song Hanso followed up another 360 degrees kick, and that hit the face of the director, and Song Hansu caught the food and gave it to the child, making the child look in awe because his teacher is amazing. Other agents who entered the Taekwondo school were kicked down by Song Hansu, and both Manager Kim and him run down to escape from these special forces. They entered in the small van of Song Hansu, but that van has computers that were built to track down people, including for infiltration, although it was not the same since it was in the past when they were used by both of them. They track down the location of Minji's phone and they are brought to a school full of delinquents. This school is known as the Idiot High School. But of course, these guys are just small fries compared to someone who visits and infiltrates the North. All of these guys were just beaten down easily. The leader of the 4 groups of high school delinquents in the city is Shin Sung-ho, 19 years old, an undefeated boxer who conquered 3 weight classes. But delinquents are just a kid and they are no match for these legends. Manager Kim approached Shin Sung-ho, points at the phone, and asks where did he got it. This guy is so proud of himself looking down at Manager Kim, which in the end he was beaten up, and his face was all swollen while trying to get away from Manager Kim. While being beaten up, he told Manager Kim that he hadn't even seen the face of Minji before. The thing is that this leader took all the girls' phones that was unlocked by one of his lackeys. But when he saw the profile of Minji, he thought she was cute, which is why he took it. Shin Sung-ho told Manager Kim that when he looks at the phone, Minji seems to not have a friend at all, looking at her contacts and messages. And this girl named Haeryong that Minji is talking about, that her one and only friend is just using him as a free shuttle. After realizing that, Manager Kim lost his hope again. That is why Song Hansu told him to hold his ground and find Minji fast so he can apologize. Manager Kim grabs Shin Sung-ho and asks him where did he get this phone, and they were told by him that they take it from an alcoholic beggar on the street. They went to the beggar and he said that some guy in a black suit got out of the car and threw the phone and the wallet, and he picks it up. And after that, some delinquent high schooler appeared and took it away from him. Manager Kim grabs his collar and asks him about the information of the man. The beggar feels the thickness of Manager Kim's skin like leather, and he saw some scars from bullets. That is why he told him everything about the information, including what type and color of the car. But after that, the beggar still wants to ask for compensation for the information that he had given. That is why Song Hansu picks up a coin and twists it like a paper and asks him again if he still wants compensation. Then of course the beggar became silent in fear. Using the computer, they can pull out all of the CCTV recordings in that location. By scanning the facial features of the homeless man, they were able to know the picture of the car, including its plate number. Using the face recognition algorithm, they were able to know who is the one who threw the phone and wallet, and that is a 41-year-old man who has 2 criminal records. Manager Kim used the recording of the car to track down and pinpoint their location. He waited until it was 99% complete, when some random car that is at full speed suddenly bumps into their car. Even after that impact, and their car flips up, Manager Kim is still focusing on the result of the tracking, and he was able to find the location of the car, and it was parked on the West Sea, which is 9.1 kilometers away from them. Even though he is the one who bumps them, this eccentric director cracks his gun and asks if they know how to drive and if they have even gotten into a driver's test. Because of that, it made Manager Kim so angry that he wanted to kill this guy. But Song Han-soo told him that he must go to his daughter, and this guy is still a civil servant, which will give them a headache if they get rid of him. Song Han-soo got out of the car raising his hand, and the car suddenly explodes. That gives a chance for Manager Kim to go for a run, and he jumps down on the bridge to dive into the water. Song Han-soo told the director of the special forces known as Ground Dog that he didn't have much time, so he made his ultimate stance. But the director knows that at that distance the kick of Song Han-soo will not be able to reach him. No matter how much he thinks about it, it doesn't even make sense to see that kick. But this guy has an overwhelming talent that cannot be defended by any logic. The first spin, the second spin, the third spin. But the one that made the director shock is not a third spin, but it was because it was a total of 4 spins that kick him so hard, hitting him and making him unconscious. The unconscious director was grabbed by Song Han-soo and they dived down into the water. On the other hand, Manager Kim was able to find the location of the car that carried his daughter, and Minji was able to gain her consciousness. She was put into a large freezing warehouse, and there was a security guard that was with her in the freezer. There was a random man who entered the freezer. Minji thought that it was her dad that was trying to save her. Manager Kim opens the random container van in that area, but is not the van where Minji is. On the other hand, Minji cried when he saw the actual man who opened the door, and that is the leader of gangsters who put her in the car. Minji heard that this guy was talking to the CEO and the father of the hiree whom she had gotten fight into. The man is telling them that they will get rid of her. That is when the security guard jumps on the gangster to tackle him. The gangster was surprised to see that the guard is still alive. That is why he stabbed this guard with a knife. Because of what happened, Minji hold her mouth to be silent, and she saw on the phone that this guy is really calling that CEO. Luckily, while this guy was picking up the phone, he was not able to notice Minji at his back, because that is when President Ju called him back. President Ju told the gangster that he will go to meet him since his daughter owed him something. The gangster ordered to give him 2 billion won cash. On the other hand, Manager Kim was able to enter on the other container where all the lackeys of the gangster are staying in. And of course, he just beat them up one by one, even the right-hand man of the gangster. When that fatty that was beaten up trying to escape, Manager Kim just jumps on the container van to chase him, and then kick the window of the truck where that fatty is riding. That made the truck to lose control and both of them were thrown off the water. But Manager Kim was able to swim back together with this fat guy to interrogate him. He asks the fatty where his daughter was put into. The fat gangster brings him to the place where their leader is, and that gangster is waiting outside when he knows that Minji is still alive, and Minji locks the door so that the gangster can't go in. The gangster said that he would set Minji free and speak anything so that Minji would open the door, but Minji knew that he was lying, which is why she cried because of fear. The gangster said to Minji, "You would have been alive if you pretended that you didn't know. You are smart but also an idiot." That is when that fatso ran to his boss asking for help while Manager Kim was looking at them. He asks the fat guy on what did happen to him, and he also asks if he planned something behind his back with President Ju. This guy is just a small fry, and the reason that he became a leader is that he doesn't trust anyone. That is why he even stabbed Fatsu, which is one of his loyal lackeys. While looking at him, Manager Kim wants to strangle him up with the rope. Manager Kim asks him about the location of Minji and throws the rope in his neck. That is when some random guy in a mask intervened to protect the gangster. This guy is part of a legend who was once an orphan and was turned into an emotionless monster. He is not some random guy and can fight toe-to-toe with Manager Kim. The orphan guy thrust his fingers into the eye of Manager Kim, but Manager Kim made his fingers bend by twisting it in an instant. This guy was once an orphan who was being adopted by the gangster who made him his loyal dog to do dirty works in exchange of money. This guy was just like the age of Minji, and he fights Manager Kim with a knife. But even he tries to stab Manager Kim with a knife consecutively, it was just easily evaded by Manager Kim. At the end, he was just some random kid who was not even a match for some legend like Manager Kim. But even at his death door, this guy still wants to fight. That is why Manager Kim tried to end him, but he realizes that he must prioritize his daughter that was freezing as what the fatso told him. He told the guy that if the gangster is his father, he will not cause any harm to his son. Manager Kim told him, "A real family doesn't harm you like that. The reason why I let you live is because you are the same age as my daughter." Now I am going to save my family, and then Manager Kim leaves the area to save Minji. But after that, the chief security of President Ju appeared in the area and end the life of the young lad so that it won't leave any traces behind. On the other hand, since Minji is freezing on the warehouse, she opened the door, which gives the gangster a chance to enter. The gangster entered the warehouse and told Minji that no matter what she will do, it won't work on him. But the blood of Manager Kim, who is a warrior, runs on Minji's body, and his braveness was also passed down to her. Minji was waiting for the gangster to lose his guard, and then she busts his head so hard with a wood, making this guy lose his consciousness. Minji said, "I almost forgot whose daughter I was." Minji's courage is like her father. When Manager Kim arrived at the warehouse, Minji had already left the area. Only the unconscious body of the gangster was seen. Manager Kim saw the writing on the ground. It stated, "Dad, I am sorry. I am scared." That is when Manager Kim realized that Minji was still alive, so he decided to leave the area to catch up to Minji. But this guy was only pretending to be unconscious and was just waiting for Manager Kim to leave. But when he hurriedly tried to go out of the warehouse, the fat guy that he stabbed is already trying to close it because of what he has done to him. He tried to beg to the fat guy, but it didn't even work. The fat guy just sat at the door and lit his cigarette while listening to his whining and kicking of the door. But suddenly the door opened, which made him so happy that he jumps in satisfaction. And the one who opened it was no other than the men of President Ju, who confronted and beaten him. The chief of security plucked down his golden teeth one by one, which made it bleed so hard. But he seems to lose his rationality because of this and tells them that the daughter is still alive and they will all be hunted down by the father of the girl. On the other hand, Manager Kim runs fast to catch up with his daughter, but while Manager Kim was trying to find his daughter, Minji was already on the upper ground climbing to the highway. When Manager Kim saw his daughter, he tried to wave and shout at her, but Minji was already too far away and wasn't able to notice it. When he asks for help on some random car that was on the road, that car only sped up and passed by her, thinking that she was just some sort of scammer waving at the car and pretending to ask for help. The action of that man made Minji lose her hope of being saved. But there was another car that passed by and was able to fetch Minji up. But the sad part is that the car was owned by President Ju, the father of Hyori. President Ju said that he never thought that she would enter that car by herself. Because of what happened, Manager Kim called someone and asks that guy if his license to kill is still valid. That is the license that can give anyone a privilege to be exempted from the charges of murder. When Minji arrives at President Ju's house, she pretends that she lost all of her memory, but it was all spotted out by the president, and when the president said that his daughter tried to kill her, Minji's expression was so surprised, which means that she still remembers everything. That is when this crazy director finds out that Minji is on the house of President Ju, and together with his army they enter the private area owned by President Ju. The one that was with the director was the top personnel of the Special Mission Bureau known as the 6 Gold Stars. But these elite soldiers were no match for Chief Section Nam, who is the head security of President Ju. They were just beaten down easily. But another problem arises when the vice minister, who has a connection with President Ju, called the director to pull out his man. With no other choice, the director pulls off his man on the residence of President Ju, but the director told his man that he expected that 6 stars will be beaten down since they are not expert in combat and more on search and rescue operation. And one of the 6 stars was able to rescue and sneak down and save Minji and bring her to the car. The director told the man to slowly move away from the residence. But one of President Ju's guards suddenly ran and told them that Minji was already missing. That is when the director of the special force told his man to step on the gas as fast as possible. While they were able to run off from President Ju, Manager Kim was at behind of the car waiting to put them all down. The car that carries the 6 golden stars were beaten down by Manager Kim to steal the control of the car. But the director and his men arrive first on the military base, and he tells his men to close all the entrances and put down all the barricades so that no one can enter. But little did they know, this MF Song Hansu was under their car waiting a chance to attack. In the interrogation room, the director told Minji that his father was a freaking famous spy. So famous that even other countries are keeping an eye on him. That is also the reason he remains as a simple worker, because if he takes action, a spy from the north will come. But when the director learns that the reason for Manager Kim to take action after he remained silent for 19 years is because of a fight of his daughter, that made the director so angry because only a kid's fight triggers Manager Kim or Code 66 to take action. One of the 6 starts told Minji that no one will going to save her no matter what, but there is someone who is peeking at the back that Minji notice. It was Song Hanso who was at the top of the ceiling and kicks down one of the 6 stars. Song Hansu enters the interrogation area, which makes Minji shocked that one of the friends of his father was in there. Song Hansu smiled and said, "Did you wait for too long? Let's go and see your dad." All the best attack forces were sent to find Minji and Song Hansu in the military base. That includes the Northern Division Attack Force known as Baekdu-san. But the legendary MF was on the top and had already put all of his strings to hunt down all of these elite soldiers. Manager Kim smiled and told his daughter that they were going to go home now. He pulls all the strings and jumps down to confront all of the soldiers. And the one who was caught in the strings is no other than the vice minister. He told them that if they didn't want to see their vice minister's neck fly away, they should stop moving. The vice minister shouted at them while crying and told the soldiers to stop. Then another random MF enters the base carrying an RPG and a high-caliber rifle, beating down all of the soldiers. Then that MF throws a grenade on the vice minister without hesitation. That MF is another friend of Manager Kim who he also called for help. His name is Park Jin-cheol, and they all beat down the upcoming soldiers when the director shoots the vice minister in the head so that Manager Kim can't use him as a scapegoat. The director cannot believe that Baekdu-san, who was known as part of the top 5% of the elites, is easily defeated using Jet Kyun-do of Manager Kim. And also, a Taekwondo who was just used as a self-defense martial art is now so strong that was used in beating down even the elite soldiers. While this crazy guy Park Jin-cheol was laughing and calling his daughter while beating down the elite forces, and all of the military personnel were beaten down by some middle-aged men. It was an overwhelming defeat for the military and they just took the key from the director and left. Minji could not believe what he saw, because what she knows is that her father is just a happy-go-lucky person who is also just a normal office worker. While trying to escape the military base, their vehicle was trapped by some large truck at all sides, and the one who is waiting in the front is Section Chief Nam, who is the right-hand man of President Ju. While these big fellas was waiting until Manager Kim and the gang were trapped and be pushed inside the container van in the front truck, Park Jin-cheol was just laughing at them. This guy was not even threatened, and he said that this guy only knows how to make a joke. Park Jin-cheol is known as the Otter One. Participated in the Civil War in West Asia 3 times, a civil war in the Middle East 12 times, a war in some countries 7 times, and many other wars with a total of 189 kills. This guy is like taking war as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. After their car was pushed down into the container van, some sort of sleeping gas was released and men in masks were waiting. This made all of them unconscious. When one man tried to check the car, he saw one of his comrades who was already unconscious with a beaten mark on his face. These made the guards be alarmed, but the car suddenly ran down in the area, escaping the truck, because these guys are well trained to be immune temporarily to this poison. Manager Kim bumped the armored car into the other truck, which made them tumble down, and after that he did a hand sign telling Section Chief Nam to look at the back. And 2 of the MFs were at his back standing. One of them is Park Jin-cheol, known as the Otter Giant, with an incomparable strength and violent temperament. The otter has the cruelty to violate even animals larger than them. An infamous animal in the Amazon, a beast, a brute, and sometimes known as the Predator. Section Chief Nam was once part of a multinational mercenary company. He wants to retire and go back to his country, and the only way to retire is to kill all of his comrades, or else you will be the one to be killed. And the one who ends up on the top is Section Chief Nam. When the 2 big guys fight, Park Jin-cheol was just still sleeping from the side effects of that sleeping gas before. Even while sleeping, he catches all the punches of this guy while snoring. He parried all of the attacks of Section Chief Nam and beat him down. Section Chief realizes that Park Jin-cheol is on another level and he had no way to defeat him. If Section Chief Nam close quarter combat ranges from 30 meters, Park Jin-cheol range is much larger and bigger in range. Chief Section Nam was asking if this guy only lives in the war. That is why the only choice he decides to take is to run and jump off the truck because he can't defeat that monster. But some eerie aura was on the bottom. It was from Manager Kim, who was driving following the truck. When he tries to jump down, he was grabbed by Park Jin-chil and smashes his face on the wall, leaving a mark on its thick metal wall, only leaving him unconscious. Manager Kim approached President Ju for what he had done to his daughter. He wants him to know who is a more extreme parent in both of them. One of his bodyguards approached Manager Kim and he was just beaten down easily. President Ju tried to make him remember what did he do to Manager Kim. It was that Chief Section Nam took a picture of Manager Kim who is kneeling in front of him. He acts like he is forgiving Manager Kim, but the truth is he wants to use that picture when his image is going bad. He told Manager Kim at that time that it is a crime to be incompetent in Korea. That is when President Ju offered Manager Kim to be his aide and he will pay him 100 million won a month. He added that there is nothing more miserable than a father who doesn't have money in the country. Manager Kim remembers the time when his wife lost her life while giving birth to Minji, and the only last wish of his wife is to love and take care of Minji. Manager Kim did not accept the deal and told President Ju that they would punch each other and the one who would yield would be the one to lose, and President Ju was given a chance to punch first. After punching Manager Kim, he also insulted Manager Kim and told him that he would make sure that Manager Kim and Minji would suffer and he would use his money and power to do that. Because of that, it made Manager Kim angry and he punched President Ju back that it caused the CEO's face to flatten. While all of his guards were running to protect their boss, these two MF is watching on the side how their friend talked man to man with the CEO. Manager Kim told him, "You asked me which special forces I am in, right? Northern Wave Operation, codename 66. If you don't see the rules, I will decide. Let us do one more punch for a win." Manager Kim totally beat down President Ju, and he totally broke down his pride. He was never a match for Manager Kim on a one-on-one punch. Because of that, Ju Kang-chan shows his phone and the list of the contacts he had that could trample down Manager Kim, consisting of a minister, director, and congressman. But on the other hand, using his simple old phone, Manager Kim called his teacher and asked for help. He asked his teacher if he could help him dismantle the Juyung construction. Manager Kim told President Ju to take his phone and he added, "You have lived your life thinking you are the best, right? There are skies beyond our skies." Then after that, many called President Ju that his company was falling down. He was so shocked that all of his assets were just dismantled easily. Because of that, he was so angry that he punched Manager Kim. Manager Kim punched him back, and with only one punch the whole floor broke down, including President Ju. And with that punch, he lost his consciousness. Manager Kim said that he will do anything to protect Minji. Song Han-soo told Minji to not hate his father too much, although he is clumsy in expressing it, but he only cares about Minji. A very clumsy father now reveals himself as a strong person who could protect his daughter. Song Han-soo smiled and told him to not hate him at all and forgive him. Minji cried and told his uncle that he could not hate him at all, hearing what he had all said and the efforts of her father in saving her. The next manhwa is How to Fight or Viral Hit. It is still an ongoing manhwa with 195 plus chapters. The story starts with this vlogger named Pakgu who has 700,000 plus subscribers doing his vlog and greeting his subscribers. They are vlogging on the famous social media NewTube. Pakgu collab with one of his beautiful classmates with a NewTube channel named Pretty Rumi. Rumi said that her content for today's video is a makeup routine. She said that the model is ready and she added that she put a lot of effort into doing the makeup. That model was Yoo Ho-bin, who looked like a clown in the camera. Seeing his face, many viewers laughed and commented that his face was so funny. Some commented sarcastically that he looked pretty. Yoo Ho-bin could only curse in this to NewTubers in his mind, and he wants to be compensated by money for the humiliation that they are doing on him. Pakgu hides his face from the camera and angrily tells Ho-bin that he should greet his subscribers with a smile. Pakgu said that they should like and subscribe to his channel and he will have a PC raffle later on his channel. But Yoo Ho-bin knows that this guy is a two-faced freaking bastard pretending to be good in camera. Because of fear, Yoo Ho-bin just forcefully smiled in the camera because of fear that he might be beaten up by Pakgu. After that, he went into the comfort room and he was so angry that the makeup was so hard to remove. And because of the constant bullying, he hated the school so much. He is asking why does he need to live like that, being humiliated. Everyone has a purpose in their life, but he doesn't have any of it. 700,000 followers YouTuber Paco. Although he is dumb, he earns millions of money. The rising YouTuber Rumi, she is making a lot of money because of her looks. Everyone is doing something, but Yuhobin has nothing. He looks in the mirror thinking that he doesn't want to accept that he is dumb and poor because it makes his life more miserable. Yuhobin entered the room as soon as he removed the makeup. But suddenly there is someone who jumps and kicks him up. Then beat Yuhobin, saying that he mess up for removing the makeup so early because he told him to not remove it. The one that beating up Hobin is Jixei, the influencer kid in their class. He is the servant and the cameraman of Paco, one of the thugs that loves messing with the students. But Yuhobin knows that this guy really doesn't know how to fight, that is why he glares at him, making Jixei sweat. But he is a great pretender, and he told Paco that he almost pissed himself looking at the eyes of Hobin, which made the other bullies in class to laugh. He just became an influencer in the room because he is the cameraman of Paco. His politics is working, so he acts like a god in school. This guy really knows how to mess with students. Hobin almost lost his cool and fought back. But in school politics, every move was done with violence, so that is why Hobin decided to hold it down. Then suddenly Rumi shouted while thanking Paco because she earns more than 300,000 won in their video. Hearing that made Hobin shocked because Rumi earns that much money just during a break. Hobin wants to earn that kind of money. Because of that, both Jixei and Hobin want to try YouTubing too. Jixei asks Paco what is the thing needed to be a YouTuber. Paco told Jixei that he could not do that since only adults can make an authorized account on YouTube. Jixei said that he was once caught using the ID of an adult, which is why he cannot do it again. So Jixei asks Hobin if his mom is still alive and breathing because he wants to use the ID of his mother. Other bullies laugh at what Jixei said because he is insulting the mother of Hobin. He jokingly said that it was wrong to do that. Paco said that he should ask if Hobin's mom is doing well. That is why Jixei jokingly said that everyone who laughs at him should also apologize at Hobin too. Because of that, Hobin wants to kick the ass of Jixei. He is starting to ask if he should go wild and fight him, but he knows that if he fights back, he will be doomed later on. That is why he can only hold his anger and feel sorry for his mom. In the hospital, his mother told him that the doctor already said that she will going to come home soon and be discharged to the hospital. But Hobin knows that his mother is lying, and he said to her that everything is all right in their house and she should not worry about the bills. His mother asks what is wrong with his face or if he fought with someone. But like his mother, Hobin also lied so she would not be worried and said that he doesn't involve himself in a fight. Hobin goes to the counter and pays 300,000 won for his mother's hospital bills. He is asking in his mind how did someone earn that 300,000 in just only one break time? Because for him, it was almost like a weekly wage from his part-time job. Electricity bill, gas bill, water bill, hospital bills, loan, and other more bills that he needs to pay, with a total of 1,180,000 won a month. He is asking himself how can he survive like that? He only earns around 50,000 won every time he work, but Rumi made 300,000 in just an hour. It made him think that his life was like hell. But when this beautiful girl approaches him and asks where he put the patties, he wants to take back what he said. For him, Choi Bomi is like the living goddess in the fast food restaurant where he is working. He was blushing because she spoke to Bomi. She is the idol of their fast food chain. Just glancing at her makes Hobin happy. Then suddenly Paco enters the fast food restaurant, greeting his 700,000 subscribers, and he said that he has new content now in a fast food chain. Some fans are also at the restaurant. Hobin is starting to question why both Paco and Jixei are at the fast food restaurant. He is starting to question if they are going to do a mukbang vlog. But Paco said on his vlog that he is on a mission. Hobin hides from the sight of both Paco and Jixei. He starts to ask if the mission that they mention about includes him. But the thing is that Paco came to the fast food chain because of what he heard from rumors that there is a goddess working in that fast food chain. Then many commented about the beauty of Bomi, and some said that it is valid to call Bomi a goddess. Paco told Bomi that he will going to order a burger whopper, and if Bomi cannot give it in 30 seconds, she will give her number to Paco. This bastard didn't even hear Bomi in the rumors. He only went there because Bomi is pretty. There should be at least 10 ingredients in the Whopper burger, so it is impossible to make it in 30 seconds. He thinks that Bomey is already his properties under the disguise that it was all for content. Other crew members are asking what they need to do. Like Paco, they also want to get Bomey's number as well. But before the 30 seconds time is finished, someone already gives the Whopper to Paco. And the one who finishes making that Whopper so fast is no other than Hobin. He told Paco that all of the ingredients were in there, and that they can go now and leave since there are many other customers that are waiting in the line. The viewers are laughing at Paco, commenting that he really failed that time, while Hobin covered his face hiding it and go back to his work. His other crewmates praise Hobin that it was a very good move, but Hobin is asking what the hell he have done, because in school he knows that he will be beaten up by Paco. But the good thing is that he caught the attention of Choi Bomey towards him. But at night, Jixay goes to Hobin's house, doing a live stream. Jixay was so happy when someone offered him 300,000 won if he could do 30 consecutive kills in the game, while Hobin became his servant cooking him ramen. Hobin felt sorry for his mom for giving Jixay the ID. He is starting to think if he should ask Jixay for the earnings that he made. But while walking, he suddenly tripped on the plug of the computer. Jixay was seriously playing and streaming, and only one kill to go. He can have a 300,000 won he won from the bet. But the monitor suddenly turned off, which made the face of Jixay to go sour. And when he looks back, Hobin is on the verge of jumping on him together with the spilled ramen that he was cooking. All the ramen goes to the face of Jixay. Hobin could only feel sorry for his mom, who put a lot of effort into making that kimchi. Jixay beat up Hobin and told him that he should pay the 300,000 won money that he lost. Hobin told Jixay that he was sorry because he slipped. Jixay told Hobin that he is a lowlife and the one who brings cancer to society. He also told him that he was the reason that his mom got cancer. That made Hobin so angry that he had gone wild and punched Jixay. That is the first punch that he has thrown in his entire life. The first ever enemy who tastes his punch is Jixay, and of course, Jixay punches Hobin on his face back. Hobin felt that the fight was not really cool since they were like a child who were fighting randomly while closing their eyes. Little did they know that the camera for streaming was still rolling. Hobin felt strange because he didn't feel any pain while fighting, but it only hurts so much after it. But the result is whole chaos in the house. Because one of the things that makes him even poorer is electricity bills. He turned off the electric outlet, and he slept without even fixing the mess that they made. The next morning, someone called the phone so early in the morning. It was Jixay who was shouting at the phone. He said to Hobin that he must delete the video because Jixay could not open it since it was the mother of Hobin's account. Hobin looks at the wire, but the wire that he tripped on is not the cable of the CPU, but it was the monitor's power supply. Jixay was crying and told Hobin that all of their fight was recorded and got live. When the monitor is off, the camera is still on streaming. Many viewers are laughing at them, thinking that they are all retard fighting without knowing that everything was recorded. Hobin told Jixay that he did not upload anything and he turned off the switch of the socket so the computer would have been turned off. Jixay cried more and told him that he was an idiot because if the computer died during a live stream, it will be automatically uploaded. Hearing that made Hobin shock. But Hobin thinks that Jixay is lying, so he opens his phone and he saw that it is true and that their fight yesterday is flooded with comments around the world. English, Chinese, Japanese, and even Thai. He only slept and the whole world saw it. He could only take a sigh because from regular retard, he became an international retard. He tried to remove it, but when he goes to the video, there was a notification that due to the tremendous number of views on YouTube, the view will be equal to 1 won each. He tried to count the amount of money he can take out of the video. But when he looks at the views, he was shocked it was 10 million views, which means that he earned 10 million won in that night. The next morning when Jixay enters the room, many of his classmates are waiting to mess him up after watching the fight of kimchi versus ramen throwing with one another. So to regain his authority, Jixay targeted the weakest looking nerd in their room and slap his head. But that nerd retaliates and punches Jixay and sits on the top of him and continuously beating him up. There is nothing that Jixay can do because the nerd is so heavy for him. He looks at Paco because he was already beaten up. He wants Paco to help him and beat that nerd. But Paco just smiled at him while being beaten up. He finally understands that all of his hard work are now gone and his wings are already been removed. Hoban decided to be absent from the class and he looked at the medical bills of his mother. He looks so shocked that the bills from 300,000 won become 1.2 million won. The one that is in charge told him that it already become a large sum. She is worried about Hoban because the bills went up and she also knows that Hoban already lost his father. She really felt bad that Hoban needed to work and take all of the responsibilities. But Hoban just smiled and said that he would pay it in cash because the truth is that he got 10 million won and he still has 8.8 million won left if he pays the bills. Even the woman is confused about the reaction of Hoban. A video went viral because of just a mistake. It has more than 11 million views now and every views is equivalent to money, which is like a dream for Hoban. Hoban doesn't care about selling his dignity because he always been a douchebag, so even in the first place, he has nothing to lost. While enjoying his 10 million won YouTube income, someone suddenly punches you Hoban. It was no other than the person who lost everything. Jixay could only cry blaming Hoban for everything because the video made Jixay the target of bullies. Jixay was crying and told Hoban that they should split the income of the video since he has the right to it too. Although Hoban pities him, he doesn't want to share any money. And because of their fight, Hoban doesn't fear Jixay anymore, and both of them fight in the middle of the streets. They both calm down and Hoban asks Jixay if he is still good or if something is broken in his body. Even Jixay is acting sad. Hoban still doesn't want to share the money with him and he also told him that his political career in the room is already at the end. Jixay suddenly smiled and showed you Hoban their video of the street fighting. He asks Hoban if the angle of the video is good or if the video quality is good. That is when Hoban realizes that Jixay doesn't want to fight, but he wants to collab with him, so he asks Jixay if he wants cash. The next day, Pakgo introduced himself and told the viewers that the ones who goes viral not long ago were his classmates. Some viewers wanted to make Hoban and Jixay fight again, but Pakgo said that he cannot do it pretending he is a good person. These two already expected that he would want to gain money by exposing them. Pakgo glared and told them to say hi on his YouTube channel. So, the two introduced themselves as the stupid duo. Looking at Pakgo doing his vlog, Jixay asks Hoban when will he going to start and do what they plan on. He told Jixay to stay quiet and he will do it. Pakgo was the one who made Hoban's life into a thrash, so he was so determined to change his pathetic life from now on. Pakgo said to his viewers to subscribe since he is giving free laptops. But Hoban shouted that it was all a lie, because the drawing the name and other prizes are all lies. He added that everything Pakgo said was all a scam. The laptop contest is not true and he is a liar. But before that, when Jixay told Hoban that they should make money together, Hoban thinks that it was all a bullshit of Jixay that they will make a team together. Jixay said that he is giving Hoban a chance to make money. He told Hoban that there is a tax that is needed to do and if it gets to be complicated it will be going to be review. He said that there are many things that are needed to create content. Editor, video recorder, director and many other stuffs. And he told Hoban that the reason that Pakgo got 700,000 subs is because of his planning and camera. He said that he would help them with everything. He said that Hoban needs to be focused as the main actor and he should believe in him because they will be making money. He thinks that Hoban was baited. He thinks that if he used the account well, he can become a top YouTube manager, and from being an embarrassment, he can be popular once again. He is planning on leeching on Hoban's hard work. But Hoban raised his middle finger at him and said that the agreement of 9:1 is unfair. If 9 is for Jixay and 1 is for him, he said that it is better for him to work at a fast food restaurant. So instead of that deal, Jixay suggests that his will be 4:6 and 6 is for Hoban. But still, Hoban continued to walk away from him. Jixay don't want to receive mockery. He wants to return to his former greatness as being a top manager of YouTuber. Then the only way for him to survive is to offer Hoban a 9:1 deal. Hearing that made Hoban stop for a moment. Then he looks back and smiled, asking Jixay what are the things that he needed to do. Jixay could only cry because of the unfair deal and he thinks that Hoban is not stupid at all. Jixay said that the things that they are going to do is a live stream, a revenge towards the school thug. Going back to the story, the one that they choose to be their first target is no other than Pakgo. Hoban told everything that he is just a thug and lying about giving a laptop. But before that, Jixei asks if Hoban is scared or not. But Hoban has no reason to be afraid anymore because in any other way he knows that he is going to be beaten up anyway. If he can get money because of him, he will be happy accepting all those beatings. Hoban took his shirt and told everyone that Paco was just pretending to be good on camera. He was a bully who beat Hoban, and the reason that he got a lot of bruises was because of him. He added that if they want to know more about the info, they should subscribe to his channel. His classmates cannot believe that Hoban is standing up for himself, and they also think that Paco must be pissed off because of that. But for Jixei, it was great because Hoban can take away the subs of Paco. The crowd was cheering at Hoban, saying that he was the best. His classmates think that Paco must be so angry because he did not expect that. But all of a sudden, everyone was confused on the face of Paco as he was just laughing at them. Paco happily told Hoban that his phone already died and the stream had already ended. Jixei was so shocked because he did not expect that to happen. Paco told Hoban that he almost got him there. Then he aimed to slap Hoban, slapping his face so hard. Paco asks Hoban if he wants to sabotage him or take revenge on him, then he continuously slaps him again and again, while being slapped again and again. Hoban tried to look at Jixei, but Jixei didn't want Hoban to look at him. He did not want to be included in that act, because the reason for that is he is capturing all the actions live on the YouTube. But it was crazy that the subs are rapidly increasing. Jixei thinks that he is not crazy enough to use Paco's channel to attack him, and he planned it in the beginning that they would use their own channel to stream it. It is trending now, and that will be the truth that will reveal the true Paco in his subscribers. But there is no need for Hoban to look at the cameraman, because the main attraction is Hoban and the camera is focusing on him. He needs to bear all the punches as much as he can, and the money will start rolling in. He was glancing at Jixei because he wanted to ask if getting beaten up like that really earns him money, because he really needs to earn a lot of money due to the large debt he had and his mother. Hoban is really tired of getting small amounts. He wants to earn a lot more money, which is why he chose to be a YouTuber. He was once an object of mockery, getting beaten up every day, but right now, he wants to create something new and amazing that YouTube wants. If he wants to be famous and at the same time create an entertaining video, the video must be an awesome content like the time a bullied student stands up for himself against the bully. But Paco is too big for something like Hoban, and he was so scared about it. It was like a freaking hell for him. But since Paco insulted his mother, Hoban was so angry about it. And that is where his fight will begin. Then Hoban is starting to create a fighting stance on facing Paco, but Jixei was so ashamed of him because he thinks it is better for Hoban just to stay put. Jixei thinks that no matter what Hoban will do, it will not work. He wants to ask Hoban if he knows how strong Paco is. On the other hand, Hoban wants to cry because he knows that he will be beaten into pulp. He wants to ask for help from his classmates, but no one dares to interfere the fight. He was so scared that he just wants to repent for all of his sins. Hoban doesn't know what to do. A large and strong muscles and a body covered with tattoos. The big fist and ripped arms of Paco. There is nothing he can do. He was just a small pest for Paco. Hoban remembers that in most of American movies they tackled down the enemy to knock them down. He decided that he will just apologize, but Paco suddenly told Hoban that his mother has a cancer. Hearing that made Hoban go wild and tackle Paco with all of his strength, making Paco shock. But what is more shocking is that Paco didn't budge from that tackle. All of the viewers watching the stream are laughing at you, Hoban, because this bastard doesn't even know that he doesn't have enough weight to knock him over. What can 170 centimeters 50 kilograms anchovy do to a 180 centimeter muscular gorilla? He carries you. Hoban then told him that if his mother was in the hospital right now, he will make sure to make him admit next to his mother. Then he slammed you, Hoban, on the floor. Everyone could only cover their face because of worry about Hoban. There was a large sound from that slam of Paco. Jixei knows that it must really hurt well. That is when Hoban realizes that weight is very important in a fight. The first one that he have done with Jixei is just a joke compared to this. This was a real fight. For Hoban, there is nothing that he can do, and it was already the end. But for Paco, it was just the beginning, and he wanted to punch the head of Hoban so hard. As the punch of Paco is approaching Hoban, some random guy who was sleeping told Paco to let him have some sleep. Paco asks who is the one that asked, and he angrily tells him to find himself someplace to sleep or he should just go home. But that guy got angry at what Paco said. That is when Paco realizes who is the man that told him to stop and let him sleep. As soon as he realizes it, he raises his hand and said that he will follow him. All the viewers laugh and commented that Paco is just chickening out with just one word of a guy, and when someone asks who he is, one of the viewers commented that he is the super rookie Kim Moon-sung, Korea's one of the most promising MMA fighters. That is when Yoo-Bin realized that there are two kinds of beast. There are still two different kinds of predators, and Kim Moon-sung is someone who eats the predator, backing down to a predator stronger than himself. Just only a few words and it sends an overwhelming aura. Yoo-Bin asks how can a guy like that exist in school? He is so envious of him. There are rumors that Moon-sung receives a special training among MMA athletes. That is why Paco together with his crew leaves the room to let Moon-sung sleep and they just go outside for a smoke. Jixae was happy that he was able to capture the awesomeness of Moon-sung. And also, Yoo-Bin did a good job, even though he failed in fighting. They were able to gain some fans for himself. At home, Paco charged his phone and he was happy that the battery ran out because he never expected that Yoo-Bin will going to mess with him. But when he checked his phone, he got more than 300 notifications that made him confused why all of a sudden, a lot of people are mentioning his channel. And he saw something that made him so shocked. A loser who doesn't know why he made that decision. But now Yoo-Bin knows that he is awesome because he was able to shot at the back of Paco. While Paco's phone was off, Yoo-Bin posted a sniper video. He did not know it would even go up to the actual searches. He is asking if Paco can sue him for that. But even after that, he still would not lose because he had a video against him. He was having a hard time spreading to each other in all kinds of communities, but linked articles spread it, making it more famous. That video was a hit, and subscribers are kept on coming. All of the communities are taking care of it and spreading it well. Paco could only shout his anger because Yoo-Bin created his downfall. For Yoo-Bin, it was just the beginning and he will be starting now. Before that, Jixae told Yoo-Bin to listen to him carefully. In the future, their main content is fighting, but the fatal problem is the length. YouTube doesn't earn money from hits but from advertising. For Yoo-Bin to earn money, he needs to create videos with the right length. But as of now, Yoo-Bin can't even last for a minute. And if he cannot do that, their YouTube will be ruined. Yoo-Bin thinks that what Jixae said is true, and if their content is about how to fight or about fighting, the audience will find it boring if they can't even last for 3 minutes. Yoo-Bin wants to go to a gym, but he knows that gym cannot give him a buff in just a short time. That is why Yoo-Bin decided to search on YouTube to learn on ways on how he can defend himself. But all he finds is a fitness video and he found nothing else. That is why he decided to search a video in English and type how to fight. And he finds one channel. It was a channel with 0 subscribers. Yoo-Bin is asking who would know that kind of channel with that kind of name. For Yoo-Bin, it must be a mistake and there must be no content posted on that channel. But there is a freaking ton of videos and he is posting consistently. Yoo-Bin thinks that the owner must be a weird guy. But still, he tries to click anything. He did not know it back then, but the one that he accidentally discovered, one channel of an old foreigner. A channel that will completely change the course of his life. The first lesson that was taught by the chicken head is a skill in fighting that is about the proper control of emotion. Rather than controlling the fist, one should wield the emotion first. If they can think like that, someone could be able to read the opponent. So the first skill that he taught is how to hurt with no pain. But Yoo-Bin thinks that it must be a scam because it was so easy to follow, and he thinks that is also the reason that this guy doesn't have a subscriber. The next day, Paco introduced himself to beautiful girls and he said that he was a broadcast jockey and wanted to interview them. The girls said that he must be Paco from YouTube. But instead of accepting the interview, all the girls just laugh at him and tell him that he is a ruined child. He is done in any case. He started live streaming as soon as he saw the video of him beating his classmate. It seemed that he had regained some public pity because of his sentiments. But the apology broadcast was also the main feature. When he suddenly changed his expression like he was not sincere in apologizing, everyone laughs at him because he is a fool and said something that can break his image without even turning off the live stream. In addition to the laptop lottery that he blew up, there are other contents that was found by the netizens to be fake. A page was created to monitor his subs in real time. Everyone enjoyed his fall as they were counting in for New Year. He has been out on the street to get some kind of attention, but instead, he received ridicule and disregard. There was none left in his former glory. Contrary to those who fall, there was a new YouTuber that was rising. King of the streamers, heroes of the bullied. That is Uhobin, who renamed his channel How to Fight. Everyone is looking forward to his content, so he cannot quit anymore. That is why he goes to the fast food restaurant that he is working on, and said to the manager that he is going to resign. He cannot cover his mother's hospital expenses anymore and he needs to earn more money. And on the crew area, girls are murmuring about Uhobin, who is quitting his job. Although the girls praised Hobin for creating burgers so fast, the girl told one of the crew that Hobin is a YouTuber now and a sniper kid, which made them laugh. But Bomi is also listening. Hobin arrived earlier because he didn't want to see Bomi and be embarrassed. Other crews are mocking Hobin for his video. The manager also insulted Hobin and told him that he just quitting because he got a little famous. He told Uhobin jokingly that he will create some YouTube videos too. But Uhobin knows that it is hard for him to create even one video because he always gets beaten up and he sells his image for that video. That is why he was angry when he was mocked by him. Joy Bomi then enters the conversation and told the manager that the video of Hobin was cool after all. At that time, she did not know that Paco was like that. But she said after she saw the video of Hobin in TV, he was able to realize it and she thanked him. Hobin and other staff could not believe what Bomi said. Bomi asks the number of Hobin and she said that she will contact him since he is leaving now and she won't be able to see Hobin again. The other crews were crying in envy because they wanted the phone number of Choi Bomi too. At the class, Hobin was on cloud 9 because he is getting in touch with Bomi and he is contacting with her. He can't believe that the goddess of their fast food chain is contacting him and asks for his number. Then the head of Jixay suddenly pops up and asks him why he is smiling. He also asks him how does he feel to have 100,000 subs. Jixay told Hobin that he is the first person to reach 100,000 subs with just 2 videos that even celebrities are struggling to achieve. Jixay asks him if he already thought of a way to last 3 minutes of fighting. He suggested that Hobin should go to the gym or go to a boxing or jiu-jitsu training. But Hobin won't tell Jixay about his plan because only the chicken man he saw on the YouTube pops up in his head. Then the YouTuber Rumi with a channel called Beauty System with 15,000 subs asks Hobin to let him join in his channel. She said when Hobin sniped Paco big time, he was immediately cut off and she told Hobin that she doesn't like that dog too much. Hobin was blushing and playing hard to get if he will let Rumi joins him. Jixay asks Rumi if she have someone who could also join so they can have a 2-on-2 video, but Hobin and Rumi think that he is only spouting nonsense. Then Paco enters and told them that he is listening to what they are all saying. He told them that they were a leech and would bite him in the end. He blamed Uhobin that because of him his YouTube is now doomed. Hobin cannot believe that Paco is making his YouTube channel a big deal and he is so excited to beat up Hobin into a pulp. Hobin remembers what the chicken man said about excitement. In the video, the chicken man said that when an opponent is excited, it will be easy. If you can't control yourself, you will probably lose. In a fight, it is not about wielding fist, but it is about wielding emotions. And because of that advice, Uhobin was able to dodge the punch of Paco, which made both Jixay and Rumi shock. He remembers the chicken guy said that if he makes someone excited, he can easily read the move of the opponent. Hobin could not believe that the chicken guy is not spouting nonsense, but his advice is applicable to real fight. Paco told Hobin that he was just lucky to be able to dodge. Paco attacks Hobin again by jumping to punch him. Hobin knows that he will gonna be beaten up, so he plans to give his best shot. He shouted what the chicken man said, how to get hit without feeling pain. But before Paco was able to land a hit on the head of Hobin, he suddenly stops, which made Hobin confused. Why did he stop? It was actually because Jixay was at the back of Hobin filming Paco again while trying to beat Hobin up. Jixay praised Paco that he was able to see the camera. Paco was so angry at Jixay that he wants to beat him up. Jixay teased Pakgo and followed a meme face to insult him. Jixay told him that his camera is much faster than the fist of Pakgo. He told Pakgo that he will be screwed if the video is uploaded and will be living as an outcast in the society for the rest of his life. He told Pakgo that if that is uploaded, 200,000 more subs will be added in the followers of Hobin. Pakgo was trembling while holding his anger while listening to Jixay. Pakgo glared at them and told them that they should better watch out. He said that he will make sure to take a revenge on them. The three of them was in fear while listening of his threat. Jixay could only sit on the floor after Pakgo left. He said that he thought that he was gonna faint by listening to the threat. He told Hobin that he owes him his life since his camera gear is expensive. But Hobin cannot say anything because he was more shocked about the chicken man. He is asking who the hell is that guy to predict all of that. Jixay and Hobin decided to meet, but while waiting, Hobin looks at his phone and watches their video. While watching, Hobin realized that creating fighting content is hard and it is not like they can keep targeting Pakgo all the time. He is thinking if they should create a scripted video, but he decided not to do it since he doesn't want to lie to his viewers like Pakgo did. But for now, he decided to text Bomi, who became his textmate for 3 days. When Bomi told Hobin that he didn't want to text him, he became sad, but Bomi texted him that she wanted to have a call with Hobin, which made Hobin's face turn red and he was so excited. Then this guy passed by at Hobin and told him that he was a fan, which made Hobin happy and somewhat shy. The guy asked Hobin if he already earned the money from the video. He even taps his pocket because this guy wants to rip off some money at Hobin. The guy warned Hobin that he will be beaten up if he calls the police. Even his underwear and socks were checked up by this guy, until Jixay hurriedly ran while shouting to scare the delinquent and to save his friend. Hobin was somewhat happy to see the nerve of the second in command in their classroom. But Jixay is a very weak fighter. He is the worst of all. He is so weak as sheet. The guy took the phone of Hobin since he didn't want him to call the police. The couple leaves and they take the phone of Hobin where the number of Choi Bomi is saved. Also, Jixay's clothes and shoes were taken. Hobin told Jixay to call the police to take his phone back, but Jixay told him that they don't need that and he needs to say hi to their subscribers. He is filming since they started pushing Hobin around and their subscribers are going crazy about it. Jixay told Hobin that those delinquents are famous on the streets. This is also their chance to make money. If they could chase them down and target them, Jixay thinks that they would get more views. But Hobin was somewhat annoyed because he knew that he would get beaten up again. But since money is part of the talk, Hobin cried and smiled and said that the How to Fight videos will begin now. The viewers commented while laughing. After that, Hobin approached the delinquent in a karaoke bar. He told the guy that he wants his phone back. Hobin looked at the hand of the guy, and since he was holding it in his right hand, he knows that he is right-handed. In the new tube, the chicken man said that if you were able to identify the dominant hand of a man, you should be able to avoid it since an untrained person usually use their dominant hand. You should also stand on their left side to make them easier to punch you and so that you can be prepared. That is what Hobin do. Although someone might not be able to dodge it, they can still react to it. When that delinquent punch, Hobin used his forehead to block that attack. That is what he called how to get hit without feeling pain. A punch is at its powerful when it reaches the opponent. In other words, Hobin needs to get hit before it begins to carry power. It is like taking a fist with head. If he tucks his chin, not only will be able to take it, but it also become a headbutt. It is impossible for an untrained person to see punches. But what if the opponent is also untrained? Then the opponent will also struggle to hit a moving head. Hobin used weaving to move his head and the attack of the delinquent was missed. If two untrained persons were trying to get hit on the head while the other is trying to punch on the head, what will happen? In the opponent's eyes, Hobin will look like a boxer. That is what called weaving. Just trying to imagine to catch a fist with forehead. The fear of punch will dissipate into nothingness. And the result would be the punches will be going to miss. And even if the punch land on the forehead, it will not even hurt. The delinquent cannot believe about the strategy of Hobin. Hobin shouted so hard and said that he wanted to text Bomi right now, but the viewers commented on who the hell is Bomi. But the viewers and even the delinquent is asking why is he only taking blows and not attacking. Hoban realized that he needed to watch more videos on how to fight to be on par with this guy. But what made Hoban cry is that there are no videos posted by the chicken guy on how to fight back. Even Hoban looks like he is losing because he only keeps receiving the punch, but the delinquent only able to continuously release the punch because of the adrenaline rush. When the adrenaline rush was over, the pain soon comes and came back to him, which made him suffer from that intense pain in his hands. Although Hoban somewhat felt hurt and some balls popped up on his head, he still won in the fight and he was able to pick up his phone back. He texted Bomi after that and the viewers celebrated his victory. The broadcast ended. They made 1 million hits per week, 4 total contents on their channel, with a total of 25 million views, and the total money is 20 million won, which made them happy after withdrawing it. Jixay told Hoban that they were lucky that the yellow flag was not attached to their videos. Hoban asked what is that? Jixay told him that it was YouTube's censorship. If there is a yellow flag stick to it, they won't be able to make profit on those videos. That is what YouTubers fear the most. If the video is too abusive or too sensuous, yellow flag will be put on the video. While walking, Hoban stumbled into a clothing store. He was amazed to see a jacket that he wants to buy it. He is thinking on how much does this cost. He thinks it cost 300,000 won, but it really cost 1.48 million won, which can bought 100 pieces of the same thing in the flea market. Jixay bought it instantly without hesitation because for him it was just basic clothes, but for Hoban, who doesn't have that much money, he just smiled and said that he was good for what he has. But there is a sudden notification that makes him buy those clothes. He cannot believe that he bought luxury clothes at a 1.4 million won price. Hoban was doing broadcasting on his YouTube channel while wearing his luxury clothes when some girl came up to him and asked if she could have a picture. Hoban was asking if she was referring to him, but actually, this girl wants to take a picture on the Namcam YouTuber Jiun, a handsome guy with 170,000 subs. Somewhat Hoban became sudden, but his viewers are cheering him up, telling only men are the true fans of him. Then this Jiun guy's eye widens up when he saw a beautiful girl. He asks the girl if she could join him for a minute because he thinks if he could get this girl in the video, he could get some reaction. But the girl rejected him and she told him that she has already someone that she had promised to. The guy asked if he was waiting for his boyfriend and who he was. Then the girl, who was actually Bomi, pointed out Hoban and told Jiun that she had promised with Hoban. Everyone was shocked, even the viewers of Hoban could not believe that this guy pulled off a beautiful girl. Bomi told Hoban that their clothes are the same and like a couple. Hoban, who was once envious with everyone, became someone proud because he has Bomi right now. He wants to stop the time right now when he was with Bomi. His face became a meme template when Bomi approached him and their hands were able to touch one another. He became delusional that he thinks that they were able to become a married couple with 1 son and 1 daughter, a happy family. After going into a cafe and eating the favorite strawberry ice cream of Choi Bomi, she told Hoban that she has a friend who is studying in their school. She asks Hoban if he knows someone with a name Kim Moon-sung. Hoban was shocked that the Korea's most promising MMA fighter and the one who is at the top of the food chain in their school is a friend of Bomi. With this, Hoban became delusional once again, and his dreams to create a family with Choi Bomi starting to crumble, and the greatest barrier of that is no other than Kim Moon-sung, which compares to Moon-sung, he was just a loser. Because Hoban doesn't want Bomi to know that he was a loser in school, he told Choi Bomi that he is close with Kim Moon-sung, which he regretted later on when Kim Moon-sung suddenly appears and asks him what he meant that they are close. Bomi asks Moon-sung about Hoban. Moon-sung told him that they are classmates but not that close. He also said that Hoban is somewhat friendly, but Moon-sung doesn't even know the name of Hoban. He also pointed out the similar clothes that they had. While walking with them, Hoban realizes that he is not even qualified to be with them, so he said an alibi that he needs to go first, and his reason is that he has an ingrown toenails. He thinks that he has gone crazy because out of many lies that is the only thing that he was able to say, but at the back is where Jixay lies. He is so angry at Hoban that he leaves the date. The subscribers were so happy while watching the vlog that many commented and laughed at the alibi of Hoban about ingrown. Jixay approached Hoban and scolded him. Hoban told Jixay that both him and Bomi are not look good together, But Jixei told Hoban that Bomi has an interest on him. They were able to go on a date and he was able to buy her a coffee. If a girl has no interest in him, they don't want to give them a dime on time. Jixei told Hoban that he is the closest one to victory of confessing to Bomi, and if he gives up, then it is really over. Hoban cried because what Jixei said is somewhat true. Because of that, Hoban jumps and hugs Jixei and thanks him for his advice. Jixei told Hoban that he is there at his back because that is what friends are for. He cheered him up and said that he needs to go and tell her the truth. Hoban leaves to confess his feelings. But Jixei only cheered Hoban up and manipulated him to go to Bomi because he wanted to create content. While running to get a better view while filming, he bumps into an unexpected person. As soon as Hoban arrives, Moonsung tells Hoban that he watches his video and tells him that he is a good fighter. He asks Hoban if he did not execute the next move on purpose or not. This made Hoban start to question if this guy knows the next episode. Moonsung leaves the area since he need to practice for his next fight. Hoban got a chance to be with Bomi alone. He asks Bomi what is her ideal type of a man. But before he could confess to Choi Bomi, he pulled out Jixei, who he knows hiding in the grass while taking a video. When he looks at Jixei's face, Hoban is shocked because his face is bleeding and swollen from being beaten up. Jixei told Hoban to run away, but Paco and his crew had already arrived in the area. He told Hoban that he would get his revenge. Hoban told Bomi to head home first. Paco was somewhat angry at Bomi because when he asks her number, Bomi is like acting. He is not interested in some guys, but right now Bomi is showing interest in Hoban. Paco insulted Bomi. Hoban tries to stay calm because he remembers what the chicken man said. That is why he tried to annoy Paco and told him that he will beat him up again and called Paco a baldy bastard. When Paco attacks Hoban, Hoban used his skill again to block the attack using his forehead and to not get hurt, skill that he learned from the chicken man. But Paco was able to find the loophole in that defense of Hoban. He told Hoban that he was watching the videos of Hoban from the start. The attack's main counter was an uppercut punch. With just one hit, the mind of Hoban goes blank. Hoban was beaten up again and again by Paco. Hoban's is hoping that Bomi will not see the weak side of him. His only wish is she didn't see everything. Hoban has no choice but to kneel down and tell Paco that he was wrong. Hoban is starting to question if he needs to act like that in front of the girl he likes. Paco told Hoban that 10,000 people are watching and ordered him to take off his pants. Jixei was crying, asking forgiveness for Hoban. He told Hoban that he really doesn't want to do it, but it is too painful to get hit. But what is more hurting for Hoban is that the girl he likes has more courage than him. Paco told Jixei to turn the camera around because he doesn't want the viewers to see how he slaps down Bomi. Before he could slap Bomi, Hoban decided to take off his clothes and asked Paco to let them go. Hoban has no confidence and fighting and winning. He became a good-for-nothing man. He wants to say farewell to Bomi because his last resort is to go naked in front of the camera. But Paco told him to stop because he didn't want to see his D. But before he could take it off and use all of his remaining pride, Moonsung pulled up his pants and told him that it is alright if he doesn't take off his pants. Kim Moonsung was actually watching the broadcast of Paco and came running to save his friend. Kim Moonsung was able to beat the shit out of this delinquent in school. He was so freaking strong. But that also made Hoban more miserable. Because Paco tried to harm his best friend, even Paco told Moonsung to wait and let him explain. Moonsung was angry and beat the shit out of Paco. Bomi wants to help Hoban and comfort him, but Moonsung told Bomi to leave and go because leaving is the only way to help. Hoban was left in the rain kneeling. The emotion left from Hoban and Jixei was anger. It was not even anger at Paco. It was the anger against himself, blaming why he is weak. He wants to tear his body apart. Paco concepts change from being an angelic classmate to his true color, which is a delinquent, and his model was Jixei was the one who betrayed him. Hoban was nowhere to be found in school. Even Bomi cannot contact him. Since he wants to tear up his body, the next episode of The Chicken Man is how to fight and win. An exercise that needs to tear up his body even if he dies. The motivation for that is mockery, anger against himself and moving against his own rage. But that skill that he needs to do takes up a month. Hoban was absent in 1 month and the one who was beaten up every day is no other than Jixei. Paco told Jixay that he hates him and Hoban for betraying him, but he hates Jixay the most because he is like a bat. Jixay knows that he is a bat that leech and cling on others, but he is only trying to survive. He is not good in academics and fighting. He is asking why there is no one standing up for him. On that 1 month, Paco's channel became okay once again and he was able to reach 900,000 subs, while Hoban's subscribers dropped during that time. That is an expected result for a YouTuber who doesn't post, but there are people who are waiting for Hoban to come back. While thinking about how to hit 1 million subscribers, Paco ordered Jixay to go at Hoban's house and make Jixay shoot a video with him to make him hit 1 million subs, since he is like a bat that needs to survive. He told Paco that he would bring Hoban. He even told Paco that he didn't even become friends with Hoban at all. Jixay hurriedly ran to the hospital and asked for the new address of Hoban, thinking that they were friends. Hoban's mother writes the address and give it to Jixay. Jixay cannot tell the reason why he is trying to find Hoban. He only wants to survive. Hoban's mother write the address in a paper since he trusts Jixay as Hoban's friend. Jixay smiled because with that he knows that he can survive and all he needs to do is bring Hoban to their school. But after that, Jixay was beaten up. He told Hoban in Paco's broadcast to not go to school because if he goes there, Paco would receive 500,000 won and he is sure that Paco will kill him. He told Hoban to stay at home no matter what. Before that he is really sure to betray Hoban, but the mother of Hoban told Jixay that he is his first friend and Hoban talks about Jixay while with his mother. She thanks Jixay for giving Hoban the support and also comfort and strength. Because of that somewhat Jixay felt a sense of guilt, that is why he decided not to continue his plan. Going back to the story, Jixay was continuously beaten up by Paco, but still Jixay cannot betray and backstab the one who considered him as his only friend. He thinks that is his karma for living like a bat, and even the camera was pointed at him. He still told Hoban to not come into school. But actually, Hoban was watching the broadcast of Paco and he was on his way to school. That made Paco happy. Hoban gives his phone to Jixay and tells him to go take a shoot since How to Fight is going to have a comeback. Hoban approached Paco and glares at him. He told Paco that he would show him how to fight and win. Chapter 2: Self-Defense Fighting. How to fight and win. A course that needs hard work. Unlike the previous video with low percentage of difficulty, this course takes up months to finish. There are 3 necessary things that need for fighting. The first one is weight. Just like in UFC, someone must need a certain weight. It is hard to take all on in eating, so Hoban needs to turn them into shake. Athletes have a technique to overcome weight, but Hoban don't have it, so he needs a body to withstand the opponent's attack. Actually, the easy way is to take supplements, but for Hoban it was a waste of money. The second thing he needs is willpower. If he doesn't have that willpower, he wouldn't be able to achieve the weight that he wants. All he needs to do is eat and gain the weight that he wants. But not all of it is absorbed by the body and some come out as sheet. It is important to take more food that he usually does. The last one is stamina. If he doesn't have that, he can't last longer in a fight. Swimming is a way to increase stamina and he needs to try swimming while using his fist. It is the special way that the Chicken Man teaches. As his body started to change, what he needs is a technique. One time when a reporter asked a martial arts champion, assuming you are a loser who can't fight, the best technique is not a boxing or jiu-jitsu. The martial arts champion choose one technique that the Chicken Man will teach at Hoban. First, he needs to try standing with his feet proportion with his shoulder, then turn his foot to the ground. After that, he needs to put all of his weight in another foot, and remove the weight from the other foot, using the momentum of his body as he turns around. That technique is MMA's low kick. That is the skill that the champion chose. It was a low kick and not an uppercut or choking. For a month, Hoban kicks and practice for 10,000 times, and his efforts were not in vain. If he tried to cheat or surrender, he won't be able to use this technique, but he will be rewarded if he did it properly. Moonsung, who was also watching and commenting on the broadcast, said that it is an MMA's low kick, an upgraded version of low kick called calf kick. Even a UFC player will limp from that kick, but that cannot be pulled off by a beginner. The Chicken Man once told Hoban that if his opponent is too big, he needs to run away because what he is teaching is how to fight, not a sport, and there is no referee in that place. And if the distance is big enough, he can go for another calf kick. But Moonsung noticed something while watching. He thinks that Hobin only has calf kick as his technique, which Pakgo also realized and was able to block that attack. It is impossible for Hobin to learn another technique in just a month, so the Chicken Man teaches him a skill in advance. When the opponent's attention was swept away by the calf kick and aiming to block it, that is when he released the punch that he practiced while swimming while punching. Hobin told Pakgo that he was not a loser and released an overhand hook. And with that punch, Pakgo was defeated and became unconscious. But it was quiet and silence filled the room. There is not even cheering or surprised reaction. It was only the sound of breath that could be heard. Moonsung pats Hobin on the shoulder and told him not to cry since he is cool. Hobin shouted, "Subscribe to my channel on how to fight and click the notification bell. Also like and share." After that incident, Pakgo never comes back to school. That made Hobin not scared anymore in going to school. But Hobin was thinking that Pakgo must be struggling right now. Because Hobin was able to beat up his channel, Pakgo's subscribers came running at Hobin, and every one of them is gathering in his channel. Hobin was able to reach his 100,000 subs and get a silver button. He thanks and bows down to his subscribers, which someone calls him Samdog. The last manhwa is the origin of this verse. The Lookism with 465 plus chapters and still an ongoing manhwa. There is a fatsu who was bullied. His name is Daniel Park. He knows that he is in trouble because this delinquent guy named Logan is in a bad mood, and the one who will be vent on is no other than him. Daniel was this bastard's pet. Whatever Logan orders him, he follows all of it. To act like a monkey or an elephant, or even to become a Pokemon like Pikachu, he follows everything. He wants to kill himself for the embarrassment he experiences. He follows Logan's order to bring a flower to a beautiful lady in school and acts embarrassingly by throwing a fart at her. But the most shameful thing is not the humiliation that he suffered in front of this girl. It was that he was thankful for even the smallest sympathy that this girl showed to him. In their home, he asked his mom if he could transfer school, but his mother told him that the rent where they are leaving is reasonable and it is hard for her to find a job too. Also, she told Daniel that if they transferred, he would become far away from his friends. But Daniel got angry because he did not consider those guys as his friends at all because they were the ones who made his life miserable. He punches the wall because of anger and asks his mother what has he done for him or if it is his fault if they don't have money. He blames his mother for his miserable life. He covered his body with a blanket and cried and somewhat felt guilty for what he said. He cried and felt sorry for his mother. For him, he was a piece of trash because he was only stronger in front of his mom and so weak in school. The next morning, his mother goes to school to ask the teacher about the transfer of his son, but the teacher told her that no school would accept Daniel with his grades. The teacher looked at the poor and old clothing of Daniel's mother and told her that it was also not cheap to transfer. During their PE time, Daniel Park was slapped in the face again and again by Logan because he lost in a bet because of Daniel. While being slapped, Daniel saw his mother come in running while shouting. It was the first time he saw her that angry. She slapped Logan and told him that they would go to see their homeroom teacher. But instead of talking to his mother to calm her down, Daniel shouted at her and cursed his mother for embarrassing him. He said some awful things to his one and only mom and supported his enemy. At that moment, he knows that he is really the world's biggest piece of trash. At night, Daniel wants to sneak in because he feels guilty for what he has done. But his mother was waiting for him and told him that she would let him transfer to school. She told Daniel that she can't go with him because she needs to work, but she promises that she would take care all of the expenses of Daniel. Hearing those words, all of his mixed emotions tangled up and tears came pouring out at Daniel's eyes. The next morning, he goes to his new place and gets a new haircut. He feels like he has become a new butterfly in a place where no one knows him. He even thinks that a lot of people are looking at him, but that is not because he is handsome, but because he looks like some Korean leaders. There he meets a beautiful girl named Mira and he thinks that he has a chance on this girl, but for Mira he was just a retard. But suddenly a boy fetched Mira, which Daniel thinks his boyfriend. His name is Zach. Later on, Zach got pissed off at Daniel when he tried to offer both of them to have some coffee with him. He was beaten up by Zach because of that. Although the fist was scary, Daniel was more concerned about the sounds of recording while he was beaten up. And because of that, all of his determination and confidence started to crumble once again. The video where he was beaten up was posted in the social media. He became a star of mockery. He wants to disappear because of that. To overcome that mockery, he just kept crying the whole time, and he became exhausted from crying for so long and blaming himself that he fell asleep. In the morning, when he tries to take a pee, he looked at the mirror. He saw a man that was so perfect at everywhere. He was so shocked that he could not make a sound. While dealing with the panic and confusion, he saw something that was more shocking. There lies his original body sleeping. While thinking of ways on how to get back into his original body, he falls asleep and once again wakes up in his original body. But he was shocked to see that it was not a dream, and the handsome body that he saw a while ago was lying beside him. Daniel realized that when his body was asleep, the other body was awake. And when he forces the other body to wake up, the other body will fall asleep. And the other body also needs to go to the bathroom and eat like a normal human body. Daniel chooses the handsome body to go to school, and his appearance creates a large stir in the class. Most of the girls were attracted to him. Since he had two bodies, his expenses also doubled, so at night, his original body works at a convenience store. The day is like a beautiful dream for him, but at night it came back into a cold reality. And the reality is still like a dream, but a horrible dream. Zach Lee and Daniel once again meet when Zach goes into the convenience store where Daniel was working. He offers Daniel a truce since he was a minor and tells Daniel to forget the past where he beats him up. He asks Daniel to let him buy some alcoholic drinks. But Zach Lee once remembered Daniel Park's handsome body, and in his distorted memory, Mira, who is the girl he likes, was attracted to Daniel. And because of that, he goes mad. He vents his anger on the fat body of Daniel, who is working in the convenience store. The next morning, Zach was at school talking about his achievements and skills in boxing. Actually, Zach Lee was Daniel's classmate, and he was a pro boxer. One of their classmates who was with Zach Lee that night talks about the Fatso Daniel that were beaten up yesterday, and they insulted his mother, saying that if he was the mother, why would she give birth to that ugly son? Daniel thinks that his mother was insulted too much because of him, so he tells the guy that he has gone too far in saying an insult. That made everyone shocked. The guy that was talking stays silent, and Mira was also shocked at what Daniel said. But from Zach's perspective, Daniel is only trying to get the attention of Mira, which is actually not true. Because of that, Zach Lee invited Daniel to a fight. He wants to see if Daniel knows how to fight. But before Zach could throw a punch, one of their classmates named Jay intervened and held the hand of Zach Lee. Zach Lee realizes how strong is the grip of Jay, but he was able to escape in that grip of Jay by waving his hand, and he told Jay to let him go. And he tries to release a strong punch towards Daniel. In his mind, Daniel is now a dead meat. Daniel was sweating when that punch approached to him. Ever since he was little, he received a lot of punches. From right to left jabs, his face was able to receive it. Due to continuous beating, at some point, those punches become slow. He could see the fist coming slowly. But his body is too slow. His body wouldn't move as he intended. And at the end, he could not evade those attacks. But right now, he was able to dodge Zach's fist, which made the crowd go crazy and cheered for Daniel. Everyone was shocked. Also, Daniel was so shocked because that was the first time that his body followed his will. Since he was a child, Zach Lee was known for being the fastest and the strongest. In elementary, he won in the track and field and beat up everyone in the boxing when he was a middle schooler. After entering high school, he became a runner-up in school boxing, and whenever bullies appeared on him, they were all beaten by Zach Lee. Life was so easy for him since he was known as Speedy. But right now, none of his punches can even hit. The crowd was cheering because it was the first time they saw that someone was able to dodge the attack of Zach Lee. But since Mira, who is the girl that Zach likes, is watching, it is too humiliating for him. Because of that, Zach Lee released an upper hook. With that, Zach Lee was thinking that he got Daniel in that punch and he will be able to land a hit. But Daniel was able to grab that punch. Daniel also knows that he is nearly hit by that punch, and he was just lucky. Everyone could not believe what they saw. No one expected that Daniel was able to grab and anticipate that attack. From being a laughing stock, a man who was being beaten day by day, humiliated, and was an example of mockery. Now Daniel Park was built differently. Daniel was able to gather strength and punch Zach Lee in the abdomen, making him bend on his knees. And for the first time, Someone saw Daniel with fear just like he used to look at others in the past. In the comfort room, Jay was taking a pee when he heard these guys talking while smoking. They are planning to gang up Daniel Park to gain a good position in school. This nerd guy came in running to the comfort room since he needed to pee. He was able to pass by Jay. He is questioning as he saw Jay in the hallway. As soon as he entered, he saw these guys that were beaten up. They are trembling and bleeding from beatings. The fight between Daniel Park and Zach Lee became large news in school. The strongest and most famous students in school heard the news about it. This gentle-looking guy Eli, who is the only man from the beauty department, heard about it and wants Daniel Park to be his hair model. And this tattooed and muscular guy from the architecture department named Yunti Lee, known as Vasco, was crying as soon as he heard the news because he hates handsome and popular guys. The last one is Vin Jin from the vocal and dance department, who doesn't take off his sunglasses wherever he goes. Warning, spoilers alert up ahead. Let's dive into the Lookism universe and identify their connection with one another. The Lookism manhwa, Manager Kim manhwa, and how to fight or viral hit manhwa. Since Manager Kim lost his job, he needs to find a source of income to support his daughter. His teacher, Master Zhu, recommended a job agency for Manager Kim. It was the White Tiger Force with a ragtag office outside. And when he opened the door, there was a big guy standing there with two people who were beaten up. And the one who welcomes Manager Kim is the big D of the owner. Everything in this guy was so big that even Manager Kim could not calculate what this guy was thinking. He is the White Tiger office general manager named Lee Dogyu. For Manager Kim, he was a nutcase to interview someone naked. The test that was needed for Manager Kim to pass the interview and get his job was to show his skills to Lee Dogyu. The punches of Manager Kim created shockwaves in the whole building. This guy Lee Dogyu owns an agency that even the government cannot touch. He is a monster that needs to be impressed by Manager Kim. Even though he was beaten down continuously, he laughed and told Manager Kim that his attacks only sting a bit. Manager Kim even used Jet Kuni Do on him. When Manager Kim punches his head at the back, making it pinned on the cement floor, he just laughed and broke it down. He just told Manager Kim that he passed on the first round of the interview. The next round to pass the interview is to protect a client. One man who just passed by even became part of that interview. He peed on his pants because of fear, because he knew he would die even with just one graze on his body. But Manager Kim uses his weapons, which are wires, and is able to protect this guy and kick Lee Dogyu. Lee Dogyu only yields when he realizes that those wires were planted in his whole office and his precious furniture was damaged because of that. He didn't want to create more damage to the furniture, especially on the vase, which is why he told Manager Kim that he was accepted. So who is Lee Dogyu and how is he connected to the world of Lookism? Tom Lee, or Lee Dogyu, was part of the pre-generation. He was part of the group Gapryong's Fist, which was headed by Gapryong Kim, who was the most influential during the pre-generation. Another person that is part of the pre-generation is Charles Choi, also known as Elite. He was the chairman of HNH. No one knew about the brains behind the success of Charles Choi, who are also known as the 10 Geniuses. And one of these 10 geniuses is what Charles Choi was talking to, a large guy who is a beggar on the street. He calls him as Mr. Carpenter. And this beggar is no other than Tom Lee, or Lee Dogyu in Manager Kim. He was one of the 10 geniuses known as the Fighting Genius, and the boss of the White Tiger Forces. As of now, only 7 have been revealed out of the 10 geniuses on Lookism. Crystal Choi, the daughter of the chairman and known as the Business Genius. Gun, the Nurture Genius. Gu Kim, the Weapon Genius. James Lee, also known as Dago Kang, is called as the Genius. Kuji, the Hacker Genius. Tom Lee, the Fighting Genius. And Jinyang Park, the Medical Genius. There are 4 major crews in the Lookism world. The 4 biggest gangs in Seoul are divided by the Han River into 4 regions: North, West, East, and South. In the central Seoul, there is a crew headed by Yunti Lee, or Vasco. It is called a Burn Knuckles. Although they are not part of the Big 4, they are still considered as a threat to even 4 major crew. The one that leads the north is the crew headed by Johan Seong, known as God Dog. It was created by Johan to impress Gun and become his successor. In the west, the crew is called Big Deal, which was headed by Jake Kim, the son of Gapryong Kim from the pre-generation. In the east, the one that leads them is Eli Jong, that is consist of Runaway Family. Their group is called Hostile. The last and the biggest crew, as well as considered the biggest threat of Charles Choi, is the Workers, which was headed by Eugene, who was once known one of the 10 geniuses. Manager Kim will appear in the later episodes, when Daniel Park tries to infiltrate the Workers' fourth affiliate by acting up as a VVIP. The one who escorted him was no other than Manager Kim. Manager Kim was working under one of the biggest crew known as Workers as part of their security team, and at that time one of the 10 geniuses, Gu Kim, was at that building too. He was one of the VVIP of the Workers. And during the infiltration, Warren Chai will be caught by Manager Kim, and he even fought Warren while calling his daughter. During their battle, Warren Chai was able to showcase Manager Kim his skills in Jet Kune Do, which Manager Kim sees Warren as his past self because like him, he was also self-taught before learning Jet Kune Do. Like in manhwa, he seems to be jolly and gentle while of course inside he was a beast. And of course, Warren Chai is not a match with someone like Manager Kim, and he was beaten into unconscious state. When Warren regains his consciousness, he fights again with Manager Kim, but not alone this time. Warren was fighting together with Daniel Park, who could copy any martial arts he saw. He fought with Manager Kim using his own technique. And with that, they are trying to work together to fight the monster known as Manager Kim, who is an ex-national secret agent. Even though they were able to escape from Manager Kim, Tom Lee was able to capture them and beat down Warren easily. Tom Lee was the one who trained these two monsters, Gu Kim and Gun, who are part of the 10 geniuses. Of course, like any other guy, Daniel Park was beaten down easily. In the latest chapter, Daniel Park falls into the state of being unconscious, and with that he became a character with Ultra Instinct, where all of the martial arts known can be done by his body. And at that time, the one who was ordered to finish the job is no other than Gu Kim. Gu will fight Ultra Instinct Daniel while playing around, joking at Daniel while attacking. Taekwondo, Capoeira, and even Jet Kune Do were used by Daniel Park while fighting Gu, but Gu was still goofing around. With just one slash from the glaive of Gu, a large crack was made in the ceiling and on the wall. Gu was known as the weapon genius who can turn anything into a deadly weapon, but the unconscious Daniel Park doesn't care and destroys his weapon. Although Gu is known to not go serious and always messing around, there is one time when he gets serious, and that is when he is holding a sword, and he is using a sword stance while gathering his breath. While he was holding a sword, he was acting like some sort of anime main character and became Zenitsu, using his thunder-breathing sword to attack Daniel Park, who was also approaching. After that, he was shouting lying down on the floor. He said that he almost got killed and there was a beast that was fighting him. He said that it had been so long since he started fighting seriously. He was only lucky that Daniel Park suddenly passed out. Because of the fight between Manager Kim with Gangdong's mighty Warren Chai, he was able to take a liking to him. Later in the story, Warren will become his disciple and he will teach him proper Jet Kune Do as well as other techniques he learned while he was still in the military. In the Manager Kim manhwa, Tom Lee, who also appeared in the Lookism world, will have a direct confrontation with Jinchil when he invites Manager Kim to be part of his group known as Ares. When these monstrous forces, Ares and White Tiger forces, showcase a portion of their strength, it only results in a stalemate. In the latest chapter of Manager Kim, Gu will appear and fight Jinchil. Jinchil likes strong men and wants to recruit him to be part of Ares, but since Gu is someone who likes to mess around, he has no intention of joining the military and following someone's orders. But during their battle, Jinchil loses focus on the fight because of the appearance of an unknown man, and he starts to question, who is this guy? Because of that distraction, Gu was able to hold Park Jinchil and throw him outside the building, making him fall. But of course, even at that height, it has no effect on someone like Park Jinchil. So another question is, what is the connection of How to Fight to Manager Kim? Sung Hansu will appear in the How to Fight in the later chapter. The second villain in the How to Fight is his son, the Taekwondo genius Sung Taehoon. Taehoon will be the one who will beat up Hobin using his Taekwondo skills. Hobin was beaten up at first, but during his training with Chicken Man, he was able to learn a technique on how to counter Taekwondo. He was able to choke down Taehoon, which made him fall unconscious. Hobin only got lucky this time, but Taehoon is still stronger. Taehoon was a genius since he was a child with a possibility to surpass his father in terms of Taekwondo. Taehoon was also the first person to defeat Kim Moonsung before Moonsung was trained to become an MMA fighter. Later, Taehoon will become part of Hobin's crew and one of his trusted comrades, because Hobin reminds Taehoon of his old friend who died a while ago because of some delinquent. Taehoon will also appear in the manhwa of Manager Kim when some guys are sent to assassinate the person related to Manager Kim. He is still a prodigal son and doesn't want to listen to his father like what he was in How to Fight. He even beat down those guards that were sent to protect him. And with no choice, those guards treated him like a boss or they will be beaten up. So the last question is, who is the chicken guy in How to Fight? At first, it was thought that the chicken guy is this sadist. Just kidding. This guy is Logan Gracie, a legend in UFC world and also one of the strongest fighters. He was the first one who asked Yu Hobin if he is looking for the last episode of the fighting technique, which is said to be the most dangerous technique that could transform someone into a new fighter. Logan was the one who was watching the fight of Moonsung and Taehoon. For him, Kim Moonsung was like a savage beast who only fights for survival. He thought that Kim Moonsung was a gemstone that he has found that has not yet been polished and reached his full potential. Logan came to Korea to find a friend but found a disciple instead. He was the mentor of Kim Moonsung and he was the one who made Kim Moonsung a great prospect in MMA. He wants Moonsung to be able to beat that genius Taehoon in a fight within a year. But the point is, the friend that he is looking for is actually the chicken man in the video that Hobin is watching. Actually, the chicken man is the father of their cute video editor named Gale. Hobin once goes to the father of Gale, known as Samdak, and calls him his master. He wants to ask him to teach him how to fight. He needs that skill to defeat their enemy, which is one of the largest syndicates. But his offer was rejected by the chicken man, who told him that he didn't want to teach anyone how to fight and would delete all of his video posted on his account. Because there is some child who he taught how to fight and died because was blinded by revenge, and he don't want Hobin to suffer like that. Actually, since Hobin became a threat, a hired assassin who has no name was sent to harm Gale. But that no-named guy meets Samdak, who he points his gun in his head. But Samdak was not looking at him but on the trigger. At that moment, as if it was the obvious thing, he was planning to dodge a bullet. Of course, that is impossible. Even this no-name guy knows that. But for some reason, he was sweating because he knew that this man could dodge that bullet. When Manager Kim was abducted and brought to the largest prison camp in the north, Samdak, or the Chicken Man, was one of the guys who was asked by Park Jin-cheol to be part of the rescue team of Manager Kim. And he goes into the largest prison that is fully guarded with just slippers and shorts and is not threatened, even the guns are pointed at him. And like Park Jin-cheol, this Chicken Man is a war threat and is able to beat down the enemy using just a slipper. Like Manager Kim, he is also a guy who will do anything for his daughter Gale. Going back into the How to Fight verse, Samdak will confront Hobin when those assassins go into their house with the no-name guy with gun, and he will smack Hobin's face again and again, asking him why those guys entered their house. And because of that, Hobin realized how dangerous are those guys, and he was crying and told his other crew members that he will going to stop that new tube. Rumi, who was also part of the crew, wants to quit because she was so scared. Later, Hobin will be able to pursue Samdak, and Samdak will train Hobin. Hobin will transform from a weak-looking guy into a human weapon that can defeat anyone if he gets serious. If you like this video, please don't forget to click like and subscribe.